Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we have been joined by a few people. I apologize for the 4-minute delay for the start of the webinar. I was wanting to have a bit of more attendance, so I thought that people will join and then we can start. I welcome all who have already who are already here. Hello Aman, hello Aniket, Diksha, Dinesh, Karan, hello Shubham. Welcome to this webinar, and let me start. I think I should start the introduction because even if people join a little bit delayed, we will have a good sort of interaction with you around. I'd better remove my specs so that you are able to see, and I'm exceedingly transparent to all those who are listening and talking to me right now. So this talk, we begin with this question, assuming that most of you who have joined this particular webinar have already completed their civil engineering degree and are pondering about what next to do after completion of your civil engineering degree. What are the career options? So we will primarily center our talk around this particular area. Of course, you are welcome to ask me any other questions which might come to your mind pertaining to me, the institute that I represent, and the courses that we are offering at RSCS. But primarily this session is supposed to address your concerns about your future career. Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am Gautam Pant. I am currently Associate Professor with the School of Construction in RSCS School of Built Environment, Amity University. A brief bit about my background. I worked in NTPC from 1998 till 2015 before joining academia at RSCS SPE in 2015. I'm basically a civil engineer, an MBA from SP Jain's Global Campus in Dubai and Singapore. I'm a Fulbright scholar and I'm currently pursuing my PhD from IIT Delhi, and the subject of my interest is leadership. That's the subject that I'm studying. So here's something about me. So we begin this particular talk by taking you through this small PowerPoint presentation and some of the questions that I've compiled that you might generally have. As you all know that this particular sector of built environment is changing and changing dynamically. It is not just true of the built environment sector, but the kind of regulatory changes that this country has seen in the last 2 to 3 years. In fact, they've been very rapid. Whether you talk about demonetization or you talk about GST or any other structural reforms that the government is having, the pace of reform is breakneck, and the pace of reform is not going to abate. It is going to start, and it's going to be further kick-started so that you take the reforms to the next level. Now, why these reforms are required and typically so for let's say a built environment sector is that you need a lot of transparency, and you need a lot of financial and fiscal discipline that is required. Nobody wants the projects to be going over budget. As you all know that time and cost and quality are sacrosanct for any kind of a particular project. Now the sense of even accountability is rising. So today there was a judgment about the Supreme Court giving some judgment to JP Associates regarding their customers. There's the RERA itself safeguards people. So accountability is rising, and that has happened because of customer centricity, because now everything revolves around the customers. The company is supposed to give products which are revolving around the customers, and of course because of so much of an accountability, the compliance has to really go up for the company. And compliance is not just in terms of, let's say, the project completion time. It is compliance in terms of so many aspects that the stakeholders demand. So a company cannot exist in isolation. This need and this realization, I think, has grown and is going to further grow. So moving forward, the question that we should be asking is that are we prepared enough? Are the degrees that we are currently having, the kind of know-how that we are currently having, are we prepared enough, or there is something more that the companies need, because please understand that when the companies have to fulfill these kinds of obligations and these kind of changes are to be effected, they would need such kind of people who would be able to help the company to reach their goals. So let's look at certain kind of statistics about what are the current skill gaps. So 5.2 million professionals will be required by 2022 for this particular sector, and there are 1.5 million engineers graduate every year, out of which 80% are not found employable by the company. There are several reports which say, there was a report by Masscom which said that only 1 out of 4 people are employable. Now, I mean, the question that generally springs to our mind is, why is it that we are not employable? We have learned, let's say ABC things in a degree. There are so many tough examinations that we have found out. What are the extra skills that are required for people to be more employable? So when we say you are employable, see, each and every company is expecting you to be productive from the day that you join the company, or at least, let's say, 3 months, 4 months, as early as possible. No company nowadays has got the time or the cost to spend to be able to groom people for a longer period of time so that they become employable and they are contributing productively towards the growth and well-being of the company. So this is the demand. So is our current degree, or is the current curriculum good enough to provide us with that kind of a skill, or it is not? So currently, or I think that's what the realization is. That's what this statistics is saying, that the colleges which are there, or which are currently there, and the kind of education that they are imparting, there's still a lot of things which are wanted from the professionals. And by 2022, that therefore the construction industry would require between 4.6 to 5.2 million professionals. Now please understand that this number is huge. You require 4 times the number of current professionals that are there. More so, when they talk about these number of professionals, they would be needing these number of trained professionals, because please understand that training professional for, let's say, a year or 6 months is a cost to the company. At that point of time, you are neither contributing anything to the bottom line of the company, or neither you are working towards the towards the productivity or the growth of the company. Now, there are only few companies who can afford to provide that kind of a detailed training. Now, I come from the background of a public sector, and typically NTPC, which has got a year's training program, but such kind of programs are rare, and the vacancies in such kind of companies are also rare. Now, we must also understand that when such companies introduce these kinds of programs, they are very specifically targeted to make the individuals fit in to that specific companies. The nature of such programs are not that if you will do such kind of a program, you will be fit for any kind of a company. Therefore, in reality, if we look towards, then this need for the professionals who are employable is still high. Now, what are the skills, let's say, besides your training which you've got in your colleges, what are the skills that you are required? So typically for a construction industry, advanced project management skills are required. Agree that you would have done your PERT CPM course in your BTech. Most of you have done it, but that's the elementary aspect. Now, advanced project management skills mandate or necessitate that you have a knowledge of the entire gamut of project management, and if you and not only that, you are adept in coordinating between different aspects of project management. So be it cost management, schedule management, stakeholder management, quality management, human resource management, all those things you must understand very well in an integrated form, and you should be able to deliver. Then the specific knowledge of Lean and BIM, which are different aspects. BIM is building information modeling. So these are concepts of modeling the entire building or entire project before it has actually come on ground, which reduces any kind of fouling or any kind of wrong planning or planning mistakes. I mean, that kind of this specific tools removes that. So, and Lean is all about less amount of wastages, etc. So these kinds of skills are required nowadays for a project to have edge over the others. And again, scheduling, which is time controlled by softwares like Primavera, Telos, and MS Projects. You need to have a strong analytical skill. So it's just not the the series of data that you can generate. You should have an ability to look at the data, analyze the data. make a conclusion, and more importantly, give a solution after that. And then there are other things like estimation through these softwares called Candy, Costex. Most importantly, communication skills, because they are required not only for communicating with your fellow employees or teams, but they are also required for you to talk to external stakeholders. And of course, passion for energy, conservation, and sustainability. Now, these are, see, sustainability is now no longer an option. It is a necessity. The amount of load on the natural environment and the business to be sustainable, this aspect cannot be ruled out. So this has become very important aspect, and the impact on the environment is not far away. It's for you to see. It's for you to see how the cycles of seasons are shifting, and the regulatory bodies are responding. So whether you like it or not, the ban by the Supreme Court for the crackers was basically a realization of the fact that we need to live in an environment which is sustainable. So having said that and giving you a background about what the scenario is like, we have tried to compile some of the questions that generally civil engineers are confronted with. We are trying to, by no means we say that these are the final questions that probably you all might be having. You might be having several other questions, but we've just tried to compile these questions on the basis of our discussions with different students, current, prospective, and we thought that maybe when we talk about it, you would be helped. But by that, no means your questions, we are saying that we are limiting your questions. You can then definitely ask me any question that you feel would be able to help you. I will try and answer those questions after I've dealt with all these common questions. So some of the common questions, let's say, are these. Should I do an MBA as a next step, or should I do a job first? Why should I do an MBA and not an MTech? Will I earn more after an MBA than what I earn as a civil engineer? What skill set will make me more employable in India and abroad? How can I ensure my civil engineering degree doesn't go waste and help me growing in my career? Okay, so let's take one question by one. So question number one, why should I do an MBA as a next step, or should I do job first? Entirely your call. I would say that you can go in for a job first, but why MBA for that matter? See, by saying that MBA is not a panacea, of course, but what does an MBA do? An MBA gives you a framework to analyze a particular issue or a problem and then give a specific solution. In this case of a very, if you talk about an MBA, when you talk about MBAs are marketing, MBA HR, etc., they are generic concepts. But any MBA which is pertaining to construction, project management, etc., are very focused niche MBA. So they are not only giving you a generic framework, they are talking about a specific scenario. Now, if you do an MBA HR, you can be an HR in a software firm, or you can be an HR in a manufacturing firm. However, when you are talking about construction, project management, or any degrees, postgraduate degrees that we are talking about, construction economics and quantity surveying, or MBA in real estate, etc., these are specialized MBAs. They are in a specific field. Definitely, they are preparing you much better than the other MBAs. So, doing job would have no advantage. It depends entirely on your learning curve. So let's say during BTech, if you've got good exposure, to site work, and you've done your internships nicely, I think you can translate that experience, and your learning curve will be very quick if you do an MBA. Having an experience helps, but that does not by any means bar you from doing any MBA. So it depends entirely upon your learning curve or your ability to absorb. If your ability to absorb is higher, if you already can anchor your concepts to real life situations, you can decide to even go in for an MBA first. So why should I do an MBA and not MTech? That's your choice entirely. But let's say an MTech is a specialized form of looking at, it's a more technical or in-depth study of any technical study. So be it an MTech in water resources engineering, or be it MTech in structural engineering, your area becomes niche. You are then becoming in a very focused, narrow area. Whereas when you do an MBA, you are getting a skill, and that skill you can apply to any field. So of course, it's a construction of a mall, if it's a construction of let's say any project. So any project you can apply this degree when I talk about MBA of construction project management or any specific niche MBA. Whereas if you talk about even MBA HR or MBA finance, that's also a very generic kind of a degree which can take you to to many different companies. So if you are looking for in-depth technical knowledge, you should go in for MTech. Whereas if you want to gain a skill which has got wider applicability, I think you should go in for an MBA. Will I earn more after an MBA what I would earn as a civil engineer? Now that's a very tricky question. I would say it depends, and it depends on so many factors. So you could be a high school pass and still be earning much more than an MBA degree. It depends entirely upon how entrepreneurial you are, how good you are as a professional, how good analytical skills you have, your attitude. Everything depends. So if you have the right set of qualities, if your competencies are right, if you've got the skills of being a good manager, if you've got traits of being a good manager, let me use that word first. If you have a traits of being a good manager, I'm sure that having an MBA would definitely fetch you much more than as a civil engineer. But there could be instances in which even if you are an MBA, your attitude is not correct, your knowledge of your background or civil engineering is not that high. So definitely you will never get or you would be placed at par with any other civil engineer. Now that would be a very specific case. So if you were to talk generically, any addition of qualification should give you a higher pay package. However, if you basically do not have the right set of attitude, if you do not have the right set of skills, if you do not have the basic knowledge of a civil engineer, then in that case, it could be a case that you are not fetching the same amount of money as a civil engineer would. Now, another question is, what skill sets make me more employable in India and abroad? Now, please understand when we were discussing about the scenario just before, which talks about more transparency, more accountability, more customer centricity. Where has this mindset come from? This is a global mindset today, and India it cannot be far behind. It has to adopt all the global standards. In fact, it has. So if you look at even the contracting scenario, there are several companies, several multinational companies which are coming into India with their know-how. So Leighton is there, it's an MNC. There are other MNCs too which are coming to India, who would, CBRE is there. So their JLL is there. So all these companies are coming with their expertise of either being a project management consultant or being a major contractor also. So there's a global requirement for these kinds of things of accountability, transparency, etc., etc. And these kinds of traits are also now mandated by overall, not only in India but in abroad. So what you basically need is you need sound understanding of the national and international standards in terms of doing business with the customers. You need to understand the needs of the stakeholders. You need to know what are the different strategies to deal with those stakeholders, and what are the requirements, what are the international best practices for project management and quantity surveying or of real estate management. All that you need to know if you are basically trying to be in this particular sector. Otherwise, if you are if you want to be employable, gone are those days of you just having a job and then having a field day with it. No, you are nowadays accountable 24/7. High level of ethics are required, and these kinds of traits also, and good communication skills are required for you to be both employable and effective. So how can I ensure my civil engineering degree doesn't go waste and helps me growing in my career? So you can always opt for a degree which complements your civil engineering. So not to sound condescending and being a promoter for RSAs, but such degrees in construction project management which basically are will take your basic degree as a bedrock or a foundation to build your concepts later on, would be very, very beneficial for you, for all of you. So this is where your civil engineering degree does not go into waste, but you are doing, even if you're doing an MBA, it is basically heavily drawing from your knowledge of being a civil engineer. So my suggestion is that instead of going into a totally unrelated field like IT or doing something which is not at all related to construction, you should go in for a degree which leverages your knowledge of BTech. So, my closing thoughts is that why do we, there should be 4 reasons to choose a specialized MBA. There is a lot of demand, outside, and people are waiting for, good, sound professionals who are not only good in their technical skills, but are also good in their managerial skills. So you should be ready to meet the demand. You need to widen your career opportunities when the opportunities, and not only in India, but also abroad, because these are the fields which are very much recognized now abroad, and it is required from from your side, or it is basically the demand of the time, that you not only become you exploit these opportunities which are existing, and you're no longer required to be just a technical person. You need to be a techno manager. That is, you need to have technical skills, and your managerial skills need to build on those technical skills. And this kind of a specialization is rare. So if you are in that particular niche, I think you've got very good chances of a career growth. And of course, last but not the least, there is a huge chance of being global, because as we projected, there's a lack of skilled professionals, not in India, but even if the MNCs are coming to India, they need professionals outside the country. These are some common employable traits that they are looking for. So if you are going to upgrade your technical skills and get sound managerial skills pertaining to this particular sector, I think sky is the limit. So I think that has ended my small talk. I hope by any means it was not very small, but this is all I wanted to share in terms of the questions that we had compiled, and we wanted to talk to you. If you have any questions for me, so now you can go ahead and we can actually take your questions. So any questions, I'm here for you, please. Well, any questions? Well, Dinesh, there are several companies which are offering jobs for a fresher. In fact, companies are not having any bar. So we recently, we are right now, I think today itself, we conducted interview from Mace, in which there were a few freshers. TCE, Tata Consulting Engineers, had come, and they have taken freshers. L&T hires freshers. Shakurji Parinji also hires freshers. So there's no specific limit as to as to companies not offering jobs to freshers. Shubham, you are talking to me about transportation. Could you be very clear about what transportation are you talking about? The infrastructure sector in terms of transportation, or any other thing? So I'm not very clear with your questions. Shiva, I'm not aware of any distance courses for you to attend, particularly not in RICS. We are not offering any courses in the distances mode. However, we are offering some professional courses which are giving you some capsuled advices. So we have emerging leaders program, etc., etc. They are not detailed degree programs, but they are small capsules. So they are we are offering those kinds of programs. I'm not aware of any distance course for for doing construction project management, if that you're asking, because you've not written any. So you've not written which of the distance course that you have asked for. So yeah, Chetan, Shubham, I'll just right away come to a question. Chetan says that Amity offers this construction project management courses in Bangalore campus. Right now, RICS is not associated with Amity in the Bangalore campus. We are available in Noida and Mumbai. Shubham, about the complete transportation need in the country. See, if you look at the amount of highways which are expanding, and the growth which is poised for our the aircraft sectors and the airports, and of course the ports, etc. There is a staggering need for a huge transportation network, and I think there's a small impetus towards that, and all I see is growth. Which Dinesh then talks about which civil softwares you suggest to learn. If you're talking just about the basic civil engineering degree, I think Stag Pro will help you out, and AutoCAD would help you definitely. But it's not about project management, please. Aman Sharma, sir, I don't have much idea about this course, so please can you tell me which course is better in MBA from RSA's Amity? Aman, that depends entirely upon what you're looking for. So if you are basically a civil engineer, you could choose either. You could choose a MBA in infrastructure management, MBA in construction project management, MBA in construction economics and quantity surveying, or MBA in real estate. That depends entirely on how you're planning to take your career forward. So if you are very good in communication skills, if you feel you are very good real estate, if you are good in finances, I think or good communication skills, interest towards facility coordination, I think you should go towards MBA real estate. If you are very keen on construction, you should come for construction project management. If you are good with numbers, I'll say MBA construction economics and quantity surveying. If you are good with legal and commercial background, if that's the area that you want to get into, then MBA infrastructure management is a course. Okay. I hope I've answered your question, Aman. Gautam says how to find which is my current MBA, like MBA construction management or quantity survey. I think, Gautam, I've just answered this question. Depending upon if you're interested in construction, hardcore construction, you should go in for construction management. If you are interested in numbers, if you're interested in cost management per se, I think you should be going in for a quantity role for a quantity surveyors. It's more of numbers business. Chetan, what is the average salary we get out of the course? I think the average package is somewhere around 6 lakhs plus. That's the average package that you're getting after the specific course, the course that is offered by RSS. I'm not aware about the other courses. Shiva says, after doing MBA, what type of post the company offers? Shiva, there are multiple posts. So the job description, would range from assistant project managers to management trainees, to even there are certain companies which are giving some different names. So see, it depends entirely on how a company has structured their job profile. So many a times company look at the pay bands and that's how they offer the job. So primarily trainee managers, assistant project managers, these are the kinds of role that people are giving. Some of the previous batch people, one of them was even given a task of in one particular company of independently handling a particular project in Lucknow. That's what I'm aware of. Okay, so I think I've answered your questions, Shiva. RSA is affiliated to UK. Is there any chance that I get job in abroad, though being a fresher? Yes, Gautam, there are plenty of freshers who got job in Dubai already, and I think we are looking at fresher destinations in Singapore and Southeast Asia. So you can, even Australia, I think you can get a job after RSA's degree. There's no problem in that. Dinesh, so are any placement done in Amity after completing the courses? Dinesh, if you're asking about RACS course, RACS is handling their own placements. Apart from Amity itself, university also is giving placement assistance, if that is your question. Yeah. Chetan, I think I've answered your question about the average salary package. Any more questions? Well, I don't seem to get any more questions. And by the way, about the average salary package, what the package that I've given you is average. I think the highest was yeah, okay. You can always visit the website for any placement details that you wish to. Any more questions? I'm eagerly waiting for your barrage of questions. Yes, Chetan. Sir, I want to join this course. Thank you for your valuable info. You're more than welcome, Chetan, anytime. If you want to directly contact our placement cell, you can do so. I think the contact details will be there in the website. Um, Shiva, nobody can guarantee you, the probability of getting a good job. How do I define good? What do you say, a good job? So there is a lot of ifs answers to your particular questions. But what I say is that, if you take a course, do your MBA very nicely, any kind of an MBA very nicely, your probability to get a good job becomes very, very high. Aman says, should I need to gain some field experience prior to joining RSCS for better correlation of MBA courses with civil engineering? If you do it, Aman, it's entirely your choice. Aman, we are not putting a bar about whether students should, so even freshers join us here in RSCS. In fact, the majority set of people who are here who have joined this MBA are freshers. You will be provided, exposure to site activities during your internship, which is for a solid 2 months time. But if you still feel that you need to have more prior field experience, that is entirely your call. Shiva is I can't. Okay. Shiva, I think the placement cell would have taken the note for you. If you could just pass on your details, I think you will get the call from our placement cell. The approximate fee for the course, I think it's 10 lakhs. Yes, and it's for 2 years. The course is for 2 years. And the fees has to be, as I understand, it is paid semester wise. So you don't have to pay 10 lakhs at one go. You'll have to pay the fees partly in 4 semesters. Yes. Any more questions? Is there any advantage of one year experience inside? Shiva, what I would say is that there are your experience has an advantage, but what is the quality of an experience? So the time of an experience is one area. What is the quality of your experience and what has been your learning curve gives you a huge advantage. So if you have 1 year of, let's say, site experience, and that is a very quality experience, you've done a lot of job there, then it is much better than probably a guy who's done, let's say, 3 or 4 years at site and has not learned anything. So it depends entirely about the quality of experience that you've had. Chetan, the scholarship, I think, is not available to you right away, but you are definitely entitled for a scholarship. Once you attain a certain amount of academic standards, you can apply for a scholarship. But that is, to my understanding, after the first semester examinations, once you prove that you are fulfilling a specific criteria. But there are is there any chance of scholarship prior to joining RSS? Yes, there are certain other there are certain schemes. So Chetan, I think the specific answer you can definitely get back to my placement cell. They'll talk to you in detail about the financial aid or scholarship. But that is a definite yes. If you are inside the college and you have performed as per a specific academic set standard, you are eligible for scholarship. Yes, Shubham, the tuition fee for 2 years course is approximately 10 lakhs. Yes. Shiva, for a government job, government does not recognize any MBA. To what extent that I understand is that the government job, if they specify a government job, will be in response to any specific advertisement. So if the government says, let's say, will advertise a job, it says, okay, you need to have a construction project management degree. Only then your current degree would be, or additional degree would be valid. Otherwise, for public sectors, I am aware that you need to qualify GATE, and for other government jobs, it's either engineering services, etc., for which you have to give a competition. So, however, if let's say tomorrow NDCC specifically says that, okay, this is the particular job that I have created, which is and I require only MBA construction project management degrees, only then your MBA degree in construction project management will yield value. Aman, you need to first of all apply. I think there's a small test. If you have your max score, then and 75 percentile, you don't need to probably give a test, and you'll be called in for an interview. And only when you're screened in the interview, you are admitted for RACS. For further details, you can visit the website, and you can also write to our cell. Yeah. So you just need to get in touch with us further, and we'll get back to you on this. Well, Dinesh, to begin with, this course is accredited by RACS, which is the leading body for accrediting the course anywhere globally you can find out. And this is one unique advantage that you get in this particular institute. Besides, this is a flagship institute for RACS. RACS has been an accrediting body, which is basically a 150 years old organization and a leading global body, recognized global body in terms of standards pertaining to the built environment, and that body is basically a part of creation, for creating this particular institute. Not only that, this course is accredited by RACS. So whatever course content that we are delivering is not only state of art but global, and fulfills the mandate of all the RACS competencies. Plus, we are an industry-led institute, so the kind of faculty that we provide here are not just talking to you about curriculum, but are talking to you about real-life examples, which is quite a rarity, I must say. There are several people like me who got tons of industrial experience and have chosen to be into a teaching profession, and have not ventured it for anything else but passion. So it is by passion, that passion for educating students and making them more acquainted of the environment outside is what makes the faculty base in RACS unique. For construction project management, I think we are the only institute which have even applied for accreditation by PMI. PMI has already came here. We are waiting to hear from them, but in their words, we are just the first audacious institute who has gone in for such kind of accreditation. No other college feels, probably in India, feels prepared enough to go in for the PMI accreditation, and that is the strength of our curriculum that we have derived from the from the RACS body, by being a part of RACS and conforming to the RACS standards, that we have gone in for even that accreditation. So yes, I would say that the edge of a degree, the edge of very good curriculum, and great faculty. That's what I think would be our USPs. Yes, sir. However, Dinesh, if you look at me, there are no edges. You can only see round curves. But we do have an edge over other people. Shiva, the medium of instruction is English. I think what we expect you is a reasonable understanding of English, because the entire medium of instruction, the medium of writing a particular course is required. So we do not expect you to have very high literary standards of English, but yes, you should be able to communicate well in English, to be able to understand the English language well, and you should be able to express in English well. Well, if you are able to understand my speech, and if you are able to make meaning out of it, then rest assured that your knowledge of understanding English is quite well. And if you're able to write whatever I'm able to say, I'm telling you in clear sentences, I think your written communication will be just fine. So it is for you to gauge. So I would say bare minimum knowledge of English, which is good enough for you to understand the language and to put your ideas clearly across, is required. Well, Ankit, RSS offers a degree, and NICMAR offers a diploma, and RSS is backed by the name RSS, which NICMAR sadly doesn't have. It might be having its own, its own specialities, but I don't think so that neither its degree is accredited by RSS, neither it is a degree, it's a diploma, and I think we boast of a better faculty base. Shubham, construction management is a generic degree. If you want to get into a job which is of an infrastructure sector, which handles the different projects pertaining to infrastructure, why not? But if you want to specifically go in for infrastructure only, then you can go in for an infrastructure management. Construction project management is valid for any kind of a project. So if it is a transportation project or a building project or basically a hydro project, if you get that kind of a company, definitely you can basically go there. Shiva, if only expressing is a problem, I think you should work at it. We are still, I think, 5 to 6 months away from starting a new batch, which starts in July. I think if you can, I think that's a pretty long time for you to master your skills in expressing the language, because probably you just need to work on your hitch of speaking. So yeah, Dinesh, I think I've answered this question. The new batch would start in July, July 2018. Well, I think Shiva, you also got my answer. Shiva, primarily if you want to start your own construction firm, it's primarily your idea that will help you, more than your MBA. But definitely your MBA will help you to get that kind of a management perspective, which will definitely help you in not only starting a construction firm, but also running it, because not many entrepreneurs have that kind of knowledge. And please understand that technical know-how or know-how of the job that you're doing is very important for you to do any kind of a business. Yes, you can learn in the job, but you'll have to make several mistakes before you learn those lessons. And doing an MBA will directly give you that kind of a learning. So yes, it is going to help you. Any more questions? I'll wait for another minute before we close. If you do not have any more questions, I'll close. So any more questions? I'll wait for another minute or two, guys. I hope you all are doing well, and I urge you to ponder on whatever I have said and then make a decision. And I'm sure that you will be able to make a very sound decision. How many students get placed usually in percentages? I think the record is was 100% till last year. This year, I think only 3 students are left, Dinesh, to get placed. 2015-17 batch. We are just starting the placement in for the 2018 batch, and that's how it is. So I think it's close to 100% till now. Of the students who are eligible to be taking part in placements. Shiva, knowledge cannot be the knowledge that we impart. We will say that it is that is very, very valuable. So if you are leaving a 3.5 lakhs per annum job and you feel that you need that kind of a knowledge augmentation, it's definitely worthwhile. But please understand that if you want to compare your take home package after this MBA, that depends entirely upon how much labor that you put in and how much takeaway you have from this MBA and how do you perform at the day of your interview. Because when a particular person is looking at a candidate, the employability factor or the compensable factors are what is his experience, what is his understanding of this particular degree, and how well he's able to apply this particular degree, and what kind of attitude that a particular person brings to the table. And these all determine your package after any degree or any placement process. So yes, an MBA does help a particular person, but in some of the circumstances, if you are not able to leverage the degree, then in that case, you might be put in a very disadvantaged situation. So the question that you should be asking, Shiva, is, will I be giving my 100% to this MBA? If you would, I think that's definitely a value add for you. Ashok, which one is is better future, structural or CPM from your point of view? Ashok, I feel that structural degree would probably limit a particular person only to a job of being a structural engineer, whereas a project manager is a manager of a project. You can handle any XYZ project. In fact, when I was discussing with the PMI accreditation team, I said that a construction project manager, if he wants, he can, with a little preparation, can also switch from construction sector to even an IT sector if you are a very good project manager, because after all the concepts or the techniques of or the skills or the tools of project management are the same. They are generic. So I leave the decision to you. However, if you're too passionate about structural, I mean, I would ask you to go forward. Okay. For how many past years? Chetan, we started our batches in 2013, and we will be shortly having our third convocation, in November this week itself. So that, I think that answers your question. But in such small period of time and 3 batches, we already have been accredited by RACS twice, and we have already applied for accreditation of Project Management Institute USA for CPM course, and it was very well received, I must tell you. Dinesh says, I got a job in a company through through campus placement, so confused to take up or not. Dinesh, it entirely depends upon your goal in life. I think you should look at your job role. Every one of you must be having a professional goal in life. If this present job gives you a chance to further your professional goal, and if the job content is great, you should go up. You should go ahead and take that job. But if that job content is not that great, I think you should not take it right now. You should better wait for the right kind of opportunity. So when you look at a job, you should start from looking at what is a job, what does it offer to me, how does it make my career go forward. Then you should basically look at what is the company that is offering you a job, and then probably the pay package. According to me, this is how you should be looking at a particular job. Yeah. So I don't see any more questions right now. You can still ask if you have a question. I did not get the the specific connotation of. Is it? Can you explain how to become civil engineering in India? I think you need to get a BTech degree to become a civil engineer, and you already are. You are a civil graduate. So or you probably are talking about a construction engineer. If you want to talk about construction project manager, you need to get an MBA degree, or there is, I think, there is an MTech also in construction project management that people offer, different colleges offer. Dinesh, it's not just Delhi that we are offering the course. We are currently offering the course in Mumbai, and Mumbai we just have the first batch running. That is, the college started in 2017. Our branch started in 2017. Yes. Ashok, I hope I am able to clarify. So if you are looking at an MTech degree from an IIT, I guess you'll have to give GATE. However, for the courses, the other courses, you just need to go in for a respective examination or respective selection process that is required. I'm not aware of the degree of being a chartered engineer. We have a chartered professional. So MRICS, that's membership of RICS. And that degree is RSS itself is a chartered institute. So at the end of the and yeah, of course I forgot to mention another advantage of doing this particular degree from RSS is that after 2 years, even if you don't have any experience, so after 2 years of doing this particular degree, you can go in for application for the membership of RSS, and that membership of RSS is a globally recognized membership, and it can give newer heights to your career, not just in India but anywhere else in the world, and that's the only unique advantage that you get after studying here in RSCS. Shubham, the difference between a project manager and a construction project manager is that a construction project manager is looking after specifically projects pertaining to construction, whereas a project manager, a project is something which has got a definite beginning and an end. And from that definition, even an IT project is a project. So a project manager, a generic project manager, would be able to manage any kind of a project, whereas a construction project manager is also given the knowledge of project management. However, this particular degree would be more focused towards the construction sector. I hope I have answered your question, both Ashok and Shubham. Thank you, Ashok. The pleasure is all mine. Manideep, it's the 1-year course that we are just having the postgraduate diploma in facilities management, but all the other courses are 2 years and 3 years. The bachelor's course are 3 years course. The otherwise MBA courses are 2 years course. I think for Shubham, better for a civil engineer would be to choose construction project management, because you're not only learning about project management, you're also utilizing your past degree. So I think CPM would be a better choice. Manideep, I'm not aware of any 1-year course. That's what I said. We offer 1-year course of in facilities, that is PG diploma in facilities management. I'm not aware of any construction project management courses which are a 1-year course. Thank you, Dinesh. It is a pleasure. If your doubts are cleared, Shubham, I think I have answered your question already. I understood that it was civil engineer. So yeah. Well, Manideep, I cannot give an answer, specific answer about whether a job or MBA after bachelor's. It depends entirely on your conditions, upon your orientations in life. So, if you want to basically straight away want to have an experience in life with a job, you can directly go in for a job. However, if you feel that you need to be better prepared for being in a job, you should definitely go in for an MBA. So it's not a either or a very specific yes or no question. It depends a lot about your priorities. It depends upon a lot as you as a person. So uh, that detail needs to be factored in before we need to take a decision on this. A higher degree is always better. It prepares you much better for your life ahead. So in light of all these reasonings, I think you can make a better, you can take a better decision yourself, Mani. Yes. Well, a lot of assumptions, Mani, and when you break basically assume into three parts is basically assume me. So I will not assume, and it's not about what I prefer. It is about what you prefer, and what you prefer depends entirely on what you are looking for in life and how would you like to go about it. So if you feel that you right away, if your present conditions demand that you need to probably go in for a job, and you feel that you would directly be contributing much if you are basically earning, then you should go ahead, do a job. But if you feel that you need to be better prepared, as I said, you would have to go in for an MBA degree. Yes, Aniket, it will definitely be beneficial if you do an MBA after 1 or 2 years of job experience. It will give a definite edge to your site experience, and I think it'll give you better prospects also. So I'm sorry, Mani, but I cannot assume. And right now, at 43 years of age, it is very difficult for me to gauge or think what I would have done when I was your age. So I'm sorry, I cannot assume. I've already given you my answer. Okay, Ashok, from your knowledge, tell me about Institute of Civil Engineers UK Group membership and their advantage. Otherwise, how to be a certified professional. I'm sorry, Ashok, you're asking me a very specific question about Institute of Civil Engineers UK Group. I am not, right now having knowledge about this specific UK Group membership, and therefore I would not be able to guide you about it. However, my ID is gpant@rcs.org. I can look at it, but this is totally outside my purview of things, and I would not be having knowledge about this specific things. I think if you visit their website, they'll be able to tell you how exactly. RSCS is in no way associated with Institute of Civil Engineers UK Group. That's a separate entity. I can understand, Mani, that you want a specific answer, but I cannot give you a specific answer because the question has no specific answer. If you are very keen to get a job right now, go ahead. I wouldn't say that getting a job right now would be a detriment to you doing an MBA later on. But if you do feel that it is if you feel that you are not prepared and you want to learn more, definitely MBA will give you better prospects and better utilization of your civil engineering degree. It's perfectly fine, Ashok. I'm sorry that I was not able to answer your specific query, but I don't want to give you any wrong information. If I do not have any information, and I would not would tend to misguide you. No, I'm sorry. So I'm really sorry that I didn't have the answer to your particular question. Thank you, Mani. I think I've given you enough justifications and reasons for you to decide. So please decide. Well, if there are no further questions, I will end it in a minute. I would thank you all to be a part of of this session. We are well over an hour with each other, and I think you should be getting pretty tired of me speaking. And as it is, it's more of a monologue. I can only get your questions. So. Mani, I've already answered this question, but again, RSAS offers a degree and NICMAR offers a diploma. RSAS is banked by the NOAA of RSAS, which is 150 years old university, and you only get a chance to get membership of RSAS after you do a degree from this place, RSAS SB. You do not get that advantage after doing a diploma. From NICMAR. This course is accredited by RSAS. This course has also been seen by Project Management Institute. I'm talking about Construction Project Management USA, and they were very impressed. That's the least that I can say. I cannot talk about the process much more, but the fact is that we boast of a course which is the state of the art and the latest one, and then the faculty base that we have, I think has got very unique skill sets. And these are and please understand that I believe in speaking what I am. I would not like to comment or say some derogatory remarks about NICMAR. In all fairness, NICMAR has been an institute which has been there for a longer period of time. We can talk about ourselves, and we are special in so many ways, which I've already talked to you. Well, thank you, Chetan, for attending the course. Yes, Mani, I think the answer is pretty clear about our differences from NICMAR. Yes. So if there are no questions, can I say bye-bye to all of you, or I'll still wait another moment if any questions just pops up in your head? Well then, Mani, if you basically feel that the company needs some experience, then I think it's time that you think about higher studies, because higher studies can definitely give you that kind of that specific amount of edge, which hopefully will get you a job. But you must understand what you are really trying to get. What is it that you want from life? What is your specific goal? So any further education that you choose should be on the basis of this particular thing in mind. So look at the targets that you would be having in life, and accordingly choose a higher degree. But if you feel that you're stuck for wanting a job, I think adding qualification rather than waiting would definitely help you. Yes. Dinesh, how is the faculty present? I asked, because here in my college we cannot gain any knowledge properly. Are you specifically asking about the know-how of the faculty out here at RSCS, or I cannot compare the faculty at RSCS SB to your college. I think if you go to the website, you can very well see all the CVs of all the faculty is are here. I think even the most junior most of our faculty would be having 3 to 4 years of valid site experience, of strong site experience, and apart from that, we have very experienced professionals. I think in School of Construction as well as in School of Real Estate, we have very experienced professionals who've got a very sound industry experience before they have come here to teach. So in terms of experience, in terms of know-how, I think we've got one of the best faculties in RSCS. And I urge you to go to the website of RSCS and look at the CVs of all the faculties posted there. I think you should get a very good idea as to what kind of faculty we have out here. I did not exactly understand your question, Tarun. Most of the organization always say that you should have an exit. Are they talking about an exit plan, or are they talking about how do you want to exit from the industry, from or it is about experience that you said? Kindly make your question a little bit clear so that I'll be able to answer that better. Ashok, you talk about some tips for currently doing final year and give some steps and idea about choosing career. Suggest with some guidance. I think, Ashok, we have already talked in detail about how you should be going about in your final year. Most of the final BTech years have got a capstone project. What I would urge you is to do that particular project very well, which actually showcases the application of your entire technical knowledge, because that then forms the basis of any further degree or your experience going forward. So how much you have gained in that particular degree would be a showcase in your capstone project. So in any internship that you have done during your BTech courses, if you do it seriously, you get prepared for your future. See, there are no shortcuts to hard work. There are no shortcuts to doing a particular degree well. Your basic concepts, the understanding of your concepts is always required. Even if you go in for a construction project management course, how well you have understood your degree, BTech degree, will make a hell lot of difference as to how do you perform not only in your MBAs but in future, from now on. So I think you should focus on getting the best out of your degree, understand whatever you've done to the fullest capacity, so that you can leverage that knowledge, further. Well, Manideep, you're stuck. Well, I've already answered this question, Mani. If they're looking for an experience, then you need to probably, and you're not able to get the experience right now, it's a catch-22 situation. You should consider for going in for further studies or specific skill building courses which can help you, get a specific job. That would be my suggestion. Yes. Any further questions? Just to elaborate a little more, Ashok, on just when I go to money, which course earns us more, sir? I mean, again, the earning, that's a very wrong way of looking at a particular course, money. You should look at the type and the extent of learning that you can get from a particular course, not in terms of earning. And earning depends entirely upon how much is your grounding in that particular course, how much you've learned, and how much you're able to digest that particular learning and use it further. Because whenever a person is looking at any interviewee, he's looking at what is his attitude and what is the skill set that he's got. So it depends upon you. If your learning the learning curve is higher, even people after BTech would get a great job. So it depends entirely about and as I said before, there are people who have just completed their ordinary BA and landed up with great jobs, depending upon what was their aptitude. So if they have very high aptitude for a particular job, then they would get money accordingly. So Ashok, I mean, just expanding. So after your BTech, then you need to realize, you need to look at whether you want to stay with your BTech degree or that technical course, or you want to branch out. If you want to branch out and do a generic MBA, you should go in for a generic MBA. But if you feel that you are passionate about the civil engineering subject and you want to pursue it further, I think you should definitely go in for these techno managerial courses like construction project management, etc., which will definitely utilize your degree better. So that's how the paradigm is. So having done your graduation and depending upon how much you are you love that graduation subject and how much you've done well, I think that would decide about the future course of action. Yeah. So I hope I have amply answered your question. Well, again, money, I think earning in both ways, both knowledge and money, depends entirely upon you, money. It depends upon your attitude during the course. So that's what I've answered. Well, Tarun, you need to go into different placement agencies if you need to get an experience. There are no shortcuts to it. You need to get work. Before you get an experience, you cannot get a certificate from any which place. And if as I have said to money also, if you feel that this experience is coming as an impediment, you need to go in for specialized skill building courses so that they can give you much broader options for to make you much more employable. Yes. Money, I am not, I am not in a position of a career consultant right now, so I would not be having details about the courses for interior design. For this, you need to look at a career counselor, please, or look up, for such courses on the net. I think they'll be able to give you a better idea. Thank you, Ashok. It was a pleasure. So people, if there are no further questions and no further recurring questions, I will take your leave. I'll just wait precisely 1 more minute to take questions from you. Well, money skill building course, one of the course that you've specifically talked to you about is interior design. That's a skill building course. You could have specific design courses. You could even do a course on SAP. Now these are skill building courses. Construction project management also is a skill building course because there are several skills that you're learning in this particular course. Well, thank you, Mani. So if there are no further questions, I think I should exit, and thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions to your satisfaction, and I will say bye-bye and thank you all. Thank you for this particular session. Thank you for joining us. In case you have any further queries that you feel needs to be attended, kindly get back to our admissions cell. You can write to us. There are ample addresses or contact details on our website.